Good evening, race fans. Welcome to CRN's live coverage of the Casual Sim Racers League as we are here for round number 3 at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, and you can see that the weather not playing nice. And well, there you go. There's a prime example right there of the weather not being kind to these drivers as they're out there trying to finish up qualifying right now. Still got about a minute left. Plus, I believe some stoppage time for those watching the World Cup uh, knockout stage right now. But it's not going to be easy for these drivers here tonight. So we'll see who can navigate, who can get this thing done, and who can get to the podium here and try and dry off afterwards. I don't think the track is showing any kinds of signs that it's going to slow up and dry out enough for these drivers even consider switching tires. They are all out there on wet tires right now, and I'm sure that's what we're going to see the rest of the time as you still see some drivers having some struggles, but we'll see how that happens. It is going to be myself, Carl Hamwork, and Jimmy Covert here in the booth as usual. Jimmy, we're here at Spa. Shocker, it's raining.
Yes, Spa rained. I don't know what it is about this place. It doesn't matter leagues or if it's a 24 event, which is actually coming up this weekend. So, but I see the time has kind of advanced here as the practice went to the race, and I'm kind of looking at parts of the track, still seeing water on the track. So, but the sun is out, so we'll see how fast the track dries up. Is it going to play in their pit stop strategy? Will we see drivers come in early? Because there is a huge difference between speed on them dry tires and wet tires. And if the dry tires can work, you definitely can see that difference. So, and the only way you can really tell, Carl, is like, if you get those wet tires down to a certain lap time. So then you could shift. So that was kind of my telltale sign as a driver out there. But the field's kind of all broken up a little bit. Obviously they're grouped together. So, but your pole sitter for your LMP2 is going to be Bryce Reiner and Rich Patrico on the outside there for the front row for those drivers. And then for the GT3s, it's going to be Ricky Renner and Christopher Hamilton bringing up starting off the GT3 series. So it's definitely, going to be interesting. I'm not quite sure if this is the GP circuit or the endurance circuit. I think it's the endurance circuit. See the pit lane open there at the bottom of Blanchemont. So it's definitely going to be an interesting race. The rain really does throw a wrench in. It is different. The lines you think you want the same, but you're looking, for those drier patches of pavement to keep them tires warmed up. But then as the tires start wearing down, the track starts drying out, you're actually searching for water to keep them tires cool, to keep them so you don't wreck. So it's going to be a very interesting race. It's always fun to watch these cars go around here in the rain. There is 50 drivers on the docket too here tonight. So split. I see 22 LMP2s, and the rest will be GT3s.
Yeah, we'll see how these drivers can handle this circuit here. And Jimmy mentioning the different layouts of Spa here. Really, there's only one track layout, and that's the track that they're racing on here. But the biggest difference is the configuration in regards to pits, because the Grand Prix circuit, which it looks like they're actually using the Grand Prix pits here tonight. Basically, you enter no matter what, you're in or at the chicane, but there's a pit road at the top of the track. And then when you go around La Source, there's a pit road going down towards Eau Rouge as well. So the endurance uses both. So once you go through the Source, you stay to the inside. You stay in pit lane all the way down, basically until you get down to Eau Rouge. But here for the Grand Prix circuit, it looks like they're only using the upper pit stops here tonight. So they won't have to worry about keeping it tucked inside La Source. There they'll be actually exiting as soon as the track exits La Source and back out on the track. But you see there's plenty of rain, and the rain is one thing. Trying to survive in the rain is another. Trying to see in the mist is quite possibly the toughest thing. It is very, very difficult to see through the mist, and with this many cars out there, it's not going to be easy. But we'll see what these drivers have in store for us here tonight. Pace car is about to pull off. We'll get the start here for the LMP2s. And then shortly after that, we'll get the start for the GT3s. Bryce Reiner, Rich Petrucco on the front row for this one. And there you go. Pace car is off. And I guess the other question is where we actually get the green flag. If we get it before the source or if we get it after the source. Looks like we got it now. We are racing here at Spa, and these drivers set off down towards the source for the first time. And you see, just even looking back, how much that spray is coming up.
Yeah, a lot of spray from the cars here. I'm back with the GT3s at the moment. Obviously, they're going to the final turn here. Still have not taken their green. So they're still in a pace mode, but trying to work their way around. And I think they said the league sets start zones for the drivers, so regardless of when the green comes out. But right on board here with John Nobringer. Wow, what a spray! He's packing the roughly 10th place there, the GT3s, but it does look like the GT3s are able to kind of make it through there, or at least for the top 10, as they head down the first little bit. And the first time up the hill, you see Maxim Dumont and Steven Luttrell, Chris Hayes, Parker, Todd Torville, Chris Hayes all getting involved, towards, I think that's the back. So definitely some carnage there. As cold tires, wet tracks, and it does look like the Marlboro machine is going around there for the GT3s as well. So tough start there for some of these GT3s as they fight through the mist.
Yeah, we'll take a look at some of these accidents once we complete a lap here, as we're seeing the drivers heading down to Lacombe here in the GT3s. We'll get it over to the LMP2s, which are already going through Puhan and heading towards the back half of this track, as this track is tough enough in the dry conditions. And all these drivers, I'm sure most of these drivers will be tackling the race coming up here, the Spa 24, as you'll have 24 straight hours of this track. And a track certainly near and dear to me and Jimmy's hearts, as it was our first 24-hour win here in the Ferrari quite a few years ago now at this point. So gonna reliving it, and gonna be getting back into the Ferrari for this one coming up next weekend as well. But right now, these LMP2s are out here trying to get around this track, which won't be part of the Spa 24. It's only GT3s. So 45 minutes out here tonight as usual. Bryce Reiner leading the way over Devin Young, Craig Jancic, Herbert Pineda, Dave Skeeling for your top 5, because Rich Petrucco had a bit of an incident. We'll show you that here in a minute. That's your top 5 in the LMP2s. In the GT3s, it is Ricky Renner, Chris Hamilton, Jason Wahlberg, Christian Ortiz-Torres, and Brandon Potts. Your top 5 overall, with Brandon Potts leading in the GT3 AM class. But start taking a look back through and showing you some of these incidents. We'll get the all the race stuff up here, all the fun stuff up there for you guys to see, and start dissecting some of these incidents here. And I think some of these early ones are registered as crashes just because they were kind of coming to a stop here at the beginning of the race. So now we'll get into the actual start of the race. This is Maximilian Dumont heading down into the source for the first time and just trying to get a little bit greedy, and getting a little bit too much right there. Looks like it's, I believe, Steve Luttrell getting involved in this one and then pulling away. Big incident there as well. Let's take a look now at Todd Torville, as he was the one, actually the one that one of the ones that got stopped here in the incident. Michael Antania. This is coming up through Eau Rouge and Radion for the first time. And yeah, that's one thing, Jimmy. You don't want to touch the curbs here at any time when it's raining. And you see right there, Michael Antania found out the hard way.
Curb, paint, anything. It's horrible.
Trucco.
The ice.
Right there. That's how he fell back a few spots, just going a little bit wide.
Herbert Pineda went around right in front of Dace Keeling.
Catch up a little bit more. Across the
track.
Cameron Burke for the first time down into Puhan, a corner that I absolutely hate. I don't care if it's dry, I don't care if it's wet. And you see right here, somehow threads the needle, doesn't get hit there, and is just going to work his way back up onto the track. Brandon Potts, second time up through Eau Rouge and Raidillon, and that car steps out on him right away, goes for a bit of a slide, and luckily off of the track.
99 still stuck on the track, though, sideways. Something's up with her Pineda as he's in the track. There he goes. He's jumped into the pits.
Almost caught up to that, as you see some issues there for Stefan Price. Trying to get that thing going. Now we'll get to, this is, well, there we go. This is Dace Keeling. Having to go off track to avoid Herbert Pineda. Gets tangled up just a little bit. Not sure if he caught any kind of damage, but Pineda kind of stuck back there and waiting to get rolling again.
They ended up towing.
And yeah, ended up towing back to the pits. Another one, Logan Bram getting caught up in an incident here. This is heading into to No Name, and again, car just stepping out on these drivers pretty much right away, and it's tough to catch. Another issue here for Rich Petrucco, heading down into La Source, as looks like maybe one more incident, and then we'll finally be all caught up. But there's puddles that seem like they're setting. Certainly, to the inside of a lot of these corners, but it almost seems like there's like some running water going across the track in some of these spots, and it's kind of right in these braking zones, and it's really catching these drivers off guard, I think.
It's super hard to see, and obviously the puddles, you're so used to flying around this track when it's dry, Carl, and you're using the downforce, and I'm not sure if they're able to make those adjustments for wet conditions. It's on a fixed setup. You can't change your traction control. You can't change your wing. You can't do anything. And those are all options that you can do coming down in the pits. Traction control you can do in the car at least, but that you don't even give that an option when it's a fixed setup. And it does make a difference, a huge difference, matter of fact. So any league that's running on fixed setups, they get out here and it's raining, the drivers can't make those adjustments, and they're much needed adjustments to control the car a lot easier and be able to kind of get around here. But pretty much everybody's doing a pretty decent job. It is hard, so right now they're not fighting so much with like a heavy downpour, but they are fighting that mist, trying to follow one another through the corners.
Yeah, it looks like I know towards the end of qualifying, you see some rain right there towards the back half of the track. It seemed like the rain was starting to let up a little bit in qualifying, but it's hanging. It just doesn't want to go away. We'll try and bring up the that's just the weather right there. See if we have a radar on here. I'll take a look here in the meantime, see if we can bring up something from SDK. But it's just the weather's just kind of hanging in there. It's just enough wetness to keep this this track wet, and I don't think there's ever going to get to a point where these drivers are going to be able to get to dry tires. And it's tough. I mean, some of these corners, like you see right here, they're going through the wet the entire time through the bus stop, because it's too much of a back and forth to even get off the wet line, so you got to be careful getting the power down. But a lot of other corners, as Jimmy said, you're taking the off line. Here through La Source, it looks like they're still going to the inside, but I have seen some drivers going to kind of the outside of these turns to help get a little bit better grip, because there's just so much setting water on the insides of these corners.
Yeah, and that plays big. And then obviously there's areas like when you hit them, you'll feel the car, obviously hydroplane. So then you're lifting to let the car settle back down. You got if you're from the north and you drive through snow, that's kind of what it's like. Or if you're down here in Florida and it's always raining, you're probably used to it, or you own a all-wheel drive car or something that make it a little bit easier on yourself. But because I know that's what I just got, the new family car is an all-wheel drive. Just to kind of help with the, yeah. I mean, I do have a 4x4 truck, but I'm in Florida. What do you need a 4x4 truck in Florida for? I don't know. Maybe the 8 inches of snow that we got 2 years ago.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. The freak storms here and there.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely a challenge, and you could tell the drivers that are a little more comfortable in there. Obviously, Ricky Renner up there doing a pretty decent job leading the GT3s, as I'm just been kind of watching them a little bit. Chris Hamilton doing a pretty good job too, back there in second place, not too far behind Ricky. I guess, just give him a little bit of room, and at any time one of these drivers can make a mistake, so you're going to see people kind of floating around. But the top four for the GT3, all the original top four still, and like I said, it's you see some decent movers and for each pack. Looks like your biggest mover for your LMP2s is going to be Tyler Torville right now, currently sitting in 5th. And then back in the GT3s, up 10 spots, is Steven Santana. He's, where did that number go? He's sitting in 15th overall for the GT3s. So some drivers being able to just be a little more cautious. And I can tell by watching some of these drivers just like how timid they are. And a lot of people don't like rain, but it's a great equalizer, Carl.
Oh, it absolutely is, and it really takes a driver that's comfortable in your own skin. Really is what it comes down to, because you have to try things differently. And I think that the biggest place we're seeing it right now in Ravage, the hairpin, kind of the outside edge of the track, seeing drivers go to the outside of that corner for sure. Even going through some of these these final corners through the track, trying to remember what the names are, into Curve Paul Ferrer. It's definitely getting some drivers you see going to the outside. You see those setting puddles on the inside of the track. Now, that's what you see on here. Luckily, and thanks again to a lot of the fans, a lot of drivers out there for helping me upgrade my PC to get you these good looks, and you can see that shininess out there. And I know it's rain, and you all know it's rain out there since it is raining, but you can look at it, as Jimmy said, you can look at it as ice, because you get on some of those puddles and it's going to feel like ice. It feels like you have zero grip out there at all, and these drivers are having to avoid those ice patches out there on the track just to try and keep these cars in line. And if sometimes you're kind of forced there, whether you're trying to make a pass or whether you're trying to defend, you may be forced onto that line, and you got to figure out what the car wants to do and what you need it to do, because it's a lot of times going to be two different things. So you got to be ready to catch it. You got to be prepared for it, because you can catch it initially. If you catch it right away, there's a chance that you can still save it and be good. But you see right here, looking at Jesse Mosley going up through Eau Rouge, does not catch it, or at least catches it enough to keep it off the wall, but is going to lose several spots here, just getting a little bit too aggressive going up the hill here through Eau Rouge, and gonna get it out back on the track, losing, looks like 6 positions just by doing so. So it can happen that quickly. And another incident here is, looks like Ian Southern just hopping on board right at the wrong time for some of these drivers. Listen, normally I'll take the broadcaster's curse. I'll take it on our heads if I feel like we've done it, but here I think this is weather. I'm a bet it's weather.
A lot of it's weather, and obviously it's hopefully, looking at the forecast for this upcoming weekend, it doesn't look like rain's going to be a huge influence. But anytime there's rain out there, Carl, I mean, there's been times where it's like it rains, you come in, you take tires, it just starts drying out, and it rains again. So I mean, it's really kind of a tiptoe balance. We've driven around here, in the rain, and the Corvette, it was a brand new car for us, and we did okay, but it was definitely a challenge trying to figure that car out and getting around this track. And these drivers going with their favorite cars. I do see a lot of McLarens out here tonight, a couple Ferraris, even a couple Fords, but it looks like the flavor for the GT3s is definitely the McLaren for the most part. And I favor the McLaren even over the Ferrari. I know we're going out here this upcoming weekend with the Ferrari. I think for nostalgia, and it's always been a pretty decent car, but I can tell you what, it was different. Obviously the gearing's different, and the brake bias changed over the past few years, as I was talking to some drivers, and it's one thing that some people don't think about, and because I was just plowing through every single corner that was known to man, I couldn't get the dang car to turn. And then somebody mentioned about, and I did mess with the brake bias, but I never really had to bring it as far back as I did. So once I did that, the car started to want to turn again. So I was happy with that and started to, find the groove and rhythm for the car. And I'm sure rain will throw me off for a little while, but you find it. I mean, you've been out here and you know where the lines are at. It's just knowing exactly when you need to, because you talk about rain, but then there's the transition from dry to wet, and then transition from wet to dry. We haven't talked about that at all. That's a whole nother challenge in itself.
Yeah, that's where it really gets tough, because then you're in drying conditions with wet tires. Well, wet tires have grooves in them. Obviously, as a race car, you want as much traction on the track as possible. You want as much grip on the track as possible. I was watching Jay Little struggling with said grip here coming out of the source, and now gets it back on the track here. But clearly, if the track is dry, if there's no wetness there on the track, you want to have as much tire on the pavement as possible. If there's grooves in the tire, that's less chance of you having some actual grip. Now, the exact opposite when it comes to wet weather, and the drivers out there right now, they need these wet tires because they need some grooves to kind of help push the the water out of the way and give themselves a little bit of grip here on the track. But when you have a track as big as this, the transition gets 10 times worse, because more often than not, it's not just gonna all of a sudden go from wet conditions to, okay, now the whole track is starting to dry, now the whole track is dry. No, it's gonna be this half of the track is starting to dry, the other half of the track it's still raining. So that's where it gets really tough, when half of the track is starting to be getting close to dry tires, and the other half of the track you need wets, and that's where it gets sketchy, to say the least.
One track that iRacing hasn't punished us on, and it's punishment enough, is 24 hours of Nürburgring. It already takes 8 to 9 minutes to a little over 8 minutes to get around that track dry. So now you're out there, if to say it's wet, now you're probably looking about, I'd say about 12 minutes. And, it's a long time for a lap, and to fight 177 different corners wet, or part of them wet, part of them dry, because the track's so big. So Spa is a pretty decent length track. It's 4.35 miles. That's why it takes them about 2 minutes to get around here when it's dry. And right now, Carl, they're sitting about 230 about 230 for the leader for the LMP2, and for the GT3s, they're at 239. So not much of a difference, but they're starting to get a little intertwined here, between the incidents and stuff like that. So Ricky Renner up in the P15 overall, still leading over Christopher Hamilton. And Devin Young is now your leader over Bryce Reiner. So Devin really kind of found his groove there with the wetness. Dace Keeling back in P number 3, and then Craig Jancic in 4. Tyler Torville up 7 spots, currently sitting in P number 5. And Austin Diltz, your biggest LMP2 mover now, sitting back in 11th. But just goes off, as I mentioned his name, but he's not the only one, as he's in say cahoots there with the number 28 and 83 LMP2s, and there's somebody else just went off the track. I think that was Jesse Mosley. I mean, wow, there's just all kinds of action going on right there in that corner. So yeah, definitely a lot of action going on the track, and sheer survival and learning, and learning where them puddles and where the braking is it's already hard enough with these cars.
Well, here's one thing I will say. I mean, I like to pride ourselves in saying that we're one of the best broadcasting teams out there, and we try and bring in as much viewership as possible. I don't think that the higher ups in iRacing regularly tune into us, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Jim, if we find a Nürburgring 24-hour race that gets rain, I'm gonna slap you. I'm gonna virtually slap you for just even putting it out there, and the chance that one of these iRacing execs or developers or whoever sets up these sessions, happens to hear what's going on.
Rain and in the dark, right?
I mean, it's if that happens, if it's rain in the dark, I'm gonna drive down to Florida, and we're gonna have
Nice.
some words.
Thumbs up, thumbs up.
I'll have some better internet, that's for sure. But but that's beside the point. Either way, still raining here at Spa, and this is a track. Again, we talked about how difficult the track is by itself, but It's amazing. I don't know if it's just, as we watch Jim Dutton have an issue coming out of
Facing the wrong way.
the top of the track here, and you got to watch driving backwards too far, or you're gonna get a black flag and a DQ, just like that. As Jim Dutton tries to drive out of the way, ends up getting DQ'd. He can't drive backwards on the track too long, and that's exactly what happened right there. But as I was saying before, I was really interrupted by Jim Dutton deciding to spin and DQ himself. Watching on board here with your overall leader, Devin Young, trying to find a way around a couple of battling GT3 drivers, and man, that's tough sledding right there, as he's got Bryce Reiner right behind him. That's why he had to make that move as quick as he did. But here at Spa, it just seems like, I don't know, it's a vortex or what's going on here. It seems more often than not, it could be a 5-minute race, let alone a 24-hour race. There's always rain in the forecast here at Spa, and more often than not, we're going to see some wet conditions one way or another, and that's why I'm not surprised here. It looks like the sun's trying to peek out here. The rain's still coming down, but it is now just about halfway through this race. Yeah. I don't know if the drivers feel the same way, whether they're out there leading like Young and Reiner right now, as they are 10.5 seconds ahead of third place, Dace Keeling, who's moved up there. Biggest mover of the race right now, Steve Santana, up 19 spots after starting back there in 37th position. Unfortunately, as cool as it would be, I don't know if we can officially say that we had 50 here tonight. It looks like John Espada, unfortunately, not taking the track here tonight. So 49, still a very, very impressive number. And thank you to all the drivers out here for tuning in here tonight, for getting into the race, and all the fans out there in Sierra Nation for tuning in. If you haven't done so already, hit that like and subscribe. Get you in touch with everything that Sierra has to offer, as we're pretty much back to the full slate here. I know we just had the season finale for Hold Your Brakes Academy, but we got the Core O'Reilly series that just came back last night. Had a fantastic race there for the season opener. We got the doubleheader here tonight with CSRL and Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series. And then tomorrow night, the return of 2 series, as we have VVR coming back with a little trucking action, as we're going trucking with VVR for this season. And then the Core GT series is going to be back in action as well. So a lot of racing here in CRN, just the way everybody likes it.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what BVR can do with the trucks. One of my favorite vehicles, obviously. It's when it comes to ovals, and I just like the way they handle, to be honest, there. And right there in front of Brandon Potts, somebody went for a ride going down the hill here, and so drivers still continuing to battle the treacherous track of water here at Spa, and trying to find their way. I'm seeing plenty of red incidents coming up, and that could be just people slowing down to avoid people, or if it's just sliding and getting off track. And there's another one there. I think that was Brandon Potts. So it's just definitely not Brandon Potts. I'm on board with Brandon Potts. So it's just drivers constantly trying to get around here, and it's just a small taste of what we're gonna see. If it decides to rain. And Brandon Potts, I guess I rode on board too long and going off track, but keeping it off the wall. So the kitty litter slowed him down, which is impressive, because usually in the rain it doesn't do much at all, and I usually get in the wall. But Spa does have some pretty decent, I know they got a lot of treacherous corners, Carl, but they do have some areas where you can get spun and at least keep it off the wall. And the biggest thing is just losing time.
Yeah.
And with this being a 45-minute race, it's essentially like a sprint race, for these road racers. And it's just, when you come to a track like this, it's raining, it's treacherous. Just run your race, run your line at the best you can. If you're a little bit slower, you're a little bit slower. More than likely, somebody trying to run it to the edge, trying to get a great finish, might find themselves spinning out, wrecking out, and you end up passing them anyways. So it's definitely a challenge. It's everybody cried they wanted it, and then I think more than not, more people cry that, oh, it's raining. So they do have a rain. They used to have a Rainmaster series for the people that just love the rain all the time. And it was a decent little series, but I didn't get into the official stuff, because official dry is bad enough. So I never really tend to go to the rain races very often. But I don't mind running in the rain. It's obviously a little more challenging, you know. And like I said, I'm always been one of those ones that kind of get out there and run the off line, as I call it, the not the unpopular line as far as some of the track goes. And I think that it pays off just a little bit as far as being able to get around here. But so far, so good. We're 24 minutes into this race, 20 more laps to go. And see, it does look like Bryce Reiner is still your leader for the GT3s, and your leader for the LMP2s right now is Devin Young.
Yeah, Ricky Renner up into 11th position right now overall. So it just goes to show you how much the LMP2s are struggling out here. And yeah, I'm starting to think about it, and you know, doing my my little calculations here in my head, and I think I figured out why you like the rain so much, Jimmy. I think maybe it's because you're so used to not hitting the apexes of the corners. You're so used to you know, kind of missing it that that
it
it's
plays
just
into my benefit.
exactly. You're so used to screwing up corners that okay, now screwing up is actually a good thing. So
right. So when rain first came out, it didn't matter if you're going 5 miles an hour or 100 miles an hour. The spray was the same. You couldn't see through it. They initiated their first endurance race, and it was at Sebring. The LMP2s were so much faster than the GTPs. It was ridiculous. I had a meatball somebody hit me and gave me a meatball, and I took the front end off my car, and I was still passing. I was angry because I had to come in and get the car fixed because we were up front. We were in like P2 or something like that, and the car just was flying. It loved the rain. Now with the tire changes, obviously not so much. So it's a little bit different. Still a lot of downforce, but it's a little bit tougher for the drivers now for the LMP2. So they kind of evened everything out. I knew that would kind of happen, but sure did love me some Sebring in the rain when everybody else couldn't do nothing, and we were just flying around faster than the GTP cars.
Well, I seen an incident there with Bryce Reiner missing the corner there at Lacombe, and luckily he was able to save it, keep it off of Devin Young. Took to the access track and almost came back into each other, but they're back at the racing area. It's kind of crazy. I've been watching the times at the front and seen Devin Young stretch it out to 2 seconds, and then I look away for a second or two looking at you know, another battle, and all of a sudden it's back down to like 0.3 seconds because it's just back and forth so much, not just with, you know, drivers struggling out there, but you know, in traffic here as well. We'll take a look as we'll get you to back live, and you see the track map. There's very little spots that those Skittles, those M&Ms are not covering the track right now. So these LMP2s are having to deal with the tough conditions, deal with each other, and then deal with the GT3s as well. As we got quite a bit going on here at the back of the field. Looks like Austin Dill's picking up a meatball flag. Jay Little, Todd Torville, both with black flags as well. But yeah, you mentioned earlier, Jimmy, that the McLaren, it definitely seems like it is the preferred pick, at least here in the fixed series here for CSRL. Probably about 2/3 of the drivers out here in the McLaren. But the crazy thing is, it's pretty much 3 cars, and that's it. It's the McLaren, decent amount of Ferraris out there, and Fords. Other than that, I think I've seen one other GT3 car, and that, well, actually, sorry, yeah, one other one that's out there, and that's the Lamborghini of Parker Standard, who is now out of the race here as well. John Espada would have been in the Porsche, but he didn't take to the track here tonight. So it's kind of crazy with 11 different GT3 cars. This might be the least amount that we've seen, you know, since the McLaren kind of, you know, came out and it was, you know, absolutely the meta car, or when the Mustang was the meta car for a while. It's kind of been, you know, at least spread out a little bit, that we see maybe 5 or 6 different manufacturers here tonight. Pretty much 3, and that's it.
Yeah, and it's kind of odd, as you know, when rain came out, it was for GT3, so it was Porsche all the way. I mean, it handled better. The mid-engine, or the rear-engine car just did a fantastic job getting the power down and getting around the tracks. And the mid-engine cars weren't so good. And but I think the Audi did okay as well. But you know, you don't see many people running the Audi anymore. It's probably a car that needs love and an update, like the McLaren. I mean, the McLaren was forever the car that were like, we need a new McLaren, we need a new McLaren, you know. And I drove the old one, and I liked it. And it was, you know, obviously it was the only car that spit fire out the back of the car, and that was a cool little feature. And you know, it was always, you know, fun. So when people seen the fire spit in the back, that was, you know, you're getting off the gas, you shifting. It, you know, it's a tattletale, and it, you know, help the drivers, you know, that were following you, and either take advantage of you or give them a heads up what's going on. So without even telling it, I don't know how much people pay attention to that stuff. That's like when I'm racing, I'm always looking, you know, past the apex, and hopefully even past the car that's in front of me, trying to get a heads up and looking for the tattletale signs, the smoke and all that stuff. Well, no smoke here tonight. It's big old rain mist clouds, and it just looks like a big whiteout. And you'll see you see tails, and you need to hit your marks, and you're trying to pay attention and get good runs. And you get a good run, you get up in somebody's spray, you can't see. And so you're hoping that they're a little bit slow and you get around, or is it your competitor? Is it the guy that you're battling? And you find yourself, you know, eating that and just having blind faith, you know. And that kind of goes, you know, running in the rain with people that you run with all the time is a lot better than running against random people that you don't know at all. So to kind of trust them, where their breaking points are and stuff like that. But rain's a huge, like you know, we can talk about rain all together, but it is the great equalizer. It is who's got the bigger cojones, who can drive the odd lines, and who can transition from one to the other. But no stop in sight for the rain here, as we're at that 30-minute mark, Carl.
I think the comment in the Discord, and that I know you can't see out there in CRN Nation, but it's pretty much spot on from Parker Sandrit with Mel Gibson. Quit raining, give me back my son. SUN, that is. As we watch Ian Wilson have some issues here in Puhan. It looks like he's going to keep the wing on his McLaren and keep that thing going as he did back it into the wall here a little bit. But it's been a crazy one out here tonight. Really tough for these drivers. I want to thank our sponsors here. One of the new sponsors. I just want to give their you know, their full sponsor read here while we have a moment while we watch these cars struggle out here tonight, and that is Aerostar Racing. They're established in 2026 and founded and brought together drivers who value teamwork, continuous improvement, and competitive success, with team members having competed in CSRL right here dating back to as far as January 2023. Their team has experienced firsthand the outstanding community sportsmanship and the level of competition that make this league special, and they're proud to support a series that has played such an important role in the sim racing journeys of many drivers. Aerostar Racing is proud to sponsor this season and to help support the continued growth of a community that has meant so much support to their team. They believe in creating an environment where drivers can compete, improve, and succeed together, and they're excited to give back to the league that has provided so many memorable moments over the years. And this season, they'll be sponsoring the Iron Man Award. This award honors a driver who competes in every race through round 10 while recording the fewest incident points. Good luck tonight. Demonstrating consistency, discipline, and racecraft that define a true competitor. So a huge thank you to Aerostar Racing for supporting the CSRL community and giving their drivers something extra to race for this season. But yeah, I'll be damned. If anybody walks out of here with a 0XL, if they walk out of here with less than 5, I think Aerostar just needs to drop that Iron Man Award on him right then and there, even though it's only race number 3, because it looks rough out there, Jimmy. And there's a lot of really good, talented drivers out there, and I'm seeing a lot of them just having a rough time.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's unique, and you need a lot of time on the track to really, you know, study the rain. And if I'm not mistaken, it was when we ventured into the rain, Chris Hamilton was one of the drivers that it didn't have very much rain here at Spa, and was able to kind of coach him through the puddles. And it does look like he's using some of those lines, you know, that we use. And 6 places going around there for the GT3s. That would be, I think, Caesar Clone or Michael Schwartz. No, Schwartz is in there. That was Colin Torres. So, but yeah, a lot of drivers go, kind of going a lap down here to the not a lap down. Ricky Renner and Chris Hamilton have been into the pits, and Ricky Renner is still out in front of Chris by about 4 seconds. So, great battle here. Not separated too far, but I'm sure Chris is just kind of trying to hang on here, and you just run your race. Like we talked about earlier.
Well, speaking of the race, we are down to the final 10 minutes of this race, and I'm sure it can't end soon enough for some of these drivers. It's been some pretty good battles up here, especially at the front of the field. Looks like it's kind of separated now after the pit stops. Bryce Renner out to a 6.5-second lead, but a few issues, a few lap cars getting involved, and I'm sure that lead can come right back down again. But Bryce Renner, Devin Young, Craig Chancik in your top 3. Dace Keeling and Trent Blaylock rounding out the top 5 for the LMP2 Pro class. In the LMP2 AM class, only one driver ahead of your GT3 leader, and that's Bill Burrell leading the AM class here tonight. Renan Dilemma is 48 seconds behind Bill Burrell right now, so Bill's just got to be smart, got to keep this thing on track, and he'll get a class win here tonight. Javi Sierra, Jason Potts, and Bevan Combs are your top 5 for the LMP2 AM class. In the GT3s, as we mentioned, it is Ricky Renner leading the way by 4 seconds over Chris Hamilton, Christian Ortiz-Torres, Michael Schwartz, and Jesse Mosley, your top 5 in the Pro class. In the AM class, Cesar Colon-Torres is the one holding it down by 5.5 seconds over Cameron Burke, Brandon Powell, Ian Southern, Brandon Potts for your top 5 in the GT3 AMs. But time's ticking down here. We're going to get this thing done and dusted, and we'll see who can survive, and that we may have to give them some extra time to just, 1, dry off, and 2, maybe just, take a pill or something like that to calm down, because it's a little nerve-wracking out here tonight, and certainly you can see it just by how the drivers are handling. I mean, we hopped on board with some of the drivers battling for positions, battling for the lead even, and even they're kind of their cars are wiggling back and forth. You can see right there, Cesar Colon-Torres, GT3 AM leader, really getting sideways and just keeping it on the track. And looks like, trying to see what that is behind him. Looks like it might be, that wasn't Javi Sierra, but another LMP2 right behind, just trying to keep that thing on track. But it's not been easy. It's not been the faint of heart here tonight, and I can't say it's the drivers roughing up each other. It's the track just throwing haymakers in the rain, not helping.
Yeah, no break. Like I said, no break in sight. Look at the radar, just constant green, and with some flashes of yellow, which is heavier. No orange or red out there for sure. So no monsoon. I think, we've had a monsoon at Bathurst before. That was probably the craziest race I ever was ever in, and then that's what I was talking about. It rained and rained and rained and stop, and then the track would just about dry out, then it rained and rained and rained and stop. And so we never got any true break. It was only like a couple hours, and being in a team, when you had we had a team of 3, so we sent one of the drivers when it was dry. We were like, all right, it's dry. Get out there and get your speed in, because he was a little quicker, but had no rain time. So, we utilized our time as best as we could. No set schedule. It was, pit, or basically it was stint to stint. And if it was dry, we kept them out there. If it was wet, we got them out of the car as soon as possible, and get somebody in there that had a little experience. And that's kind of how the team events, sometimes I know you need to, it's called like fair share driving for team events. So you got to get out there and you got to do a certain amount of laps. But if you're in a position to win, sometimes, as much as you want to make sure your whole team drives a certain amount of laps, if, that one driver is say 10-15 seconds faster in the rain, let them out there and throw them haymakers and gain all that time, because it can pay off big dividends towards the end. So, team sport, and not trying to. It's not a me sport; it's a team sport. So, that's a big thing about the team stuff. And always have a backup. That's if you're in a team events, I always recommend a backup. You know, if it's just a spotter to kind of give somebody to kind of, you know, talk to and let them know what's going on, make the decisions for fuel and tires, or if it's just you know, to keep the guy, you know,
Awake.
aware, depending on the
Yes.
time of day, because you know, we're crazy like that. You know, you work all day and then you're in a car until, you know, the following morning. Oh, John Obinger sliding up there through Blanchemont, but saving that car, just having a little bit of problems. Seeing that John Nobinger was up there, pretty decent spot, but has fallen back here just a little bit. I'm just trying to watch a little bit of everybody, but biggest mover right now for saving the car is Brandon Powell in the 831 in the Black Saturn racing machine.
Maxim Dumont is up one more position than Brandon Powell. He's up 19 spots. And then even up one more spot than that is Chris Hayes, up 20 spots after starting shotgun on the field. He is up 20 spots here in 29th in his McLaren. But keeping an eye on the battle here. At least it was a battle until, not sure what happened to Cameron Burke, as I just flipped away for a second as Cameron Burke was running down Cesar Clone Torres. This was the battle for first place in the AM division, and looks like maybe getting a little bit too much curb, getting that car upset, and he had to spin it back around and lost a ton of time. And what was 0.4 seconds is now 4.4 seconds that quickly. As we'll get you back live, and it is now up to 11 seconds here. Cameron Burke definitely having some issues late in the race as he was maybe sniffing and getting a little too excited about getting up there and then having a class win, whether you know it was a class win or not. But again, you see the sun peeking through. That means nothing. It's still raining here. It's still wet, and these drivers are not getting any reprieve.
Nah, a little bit of sunshine, I guess, would be like hopes, but don't give up your hopes. It takes this track probably an hour and a half sometimes to kind of dry out, depending on how hot it is and whatnot, and if it actually stopped raining. But you can see the rainfall no matter what camera you go on there with Carl, and it's definitely a challenge. But I think you know, the drivers are still having issues, but obviously with that time coming down, Carl, with only 3 minutes to go, you're looking at maybe 2 laps, you know, for this thing to end. So keep an eye on there. And Devin Young, he's just came up to Blanchemont and now heading down the long stretch here to get into those chicanes, and I can see spray in front of the leader, but Bryce Reiner not too far behind, back in 3.2 seconds.
Once again, I want to thank everyone out there for tuning in tonight. Hit that like, subscribe, and get you in touch with everything that Sierra has to offer us. Looks like we had some more incidents here. This was Cameron Burke. We've seen that one, but we'll see Bill Burrell here, as he was your leader in the LMP2 AM class. He is not anymore, and not sure. I mean, that's just a little off track right there, but Brandon Dilemma has caught and passed him. I'm not sure if and where and when we missed that one, but that's what the case is now. And then Craig Jancic having some issues of his own here, and he was running up there in third place, third no more, as he decides to bring it into pit lane. I mean, is this a situation where it's close to a 2 pit stop race? I see Rob Angus in the pits here late as well. Can these drivers make it to the end? I mean, maybe we're seeing some drivers coming into the pits knowing that they're not going to make it. Maybe some not paying attention to that, thinking it's just a one-stop race. There's no issues. Well, I don't know. I'm seeing some drivers, at least in the LMP2 class, making that second pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, they run unlimited fuel, I believe, so they get 50, but I don't, and then they could fill up, I believe, so not quite sure what the call is.
Unless I missed that Craig Jancic didn't have a pit stop to begin with, but I would have thought he would have been in the lead if that was the case. As we got a good battle here between Tyler Torville and Trent Blaylock. This is 5th and 6th in the pro class as they go back and forth through No Name here and head down to Puhan, as The laps are coming down here. I'm not sure if Reiner got the white flag here or not.
That's out right now.
So
Yeah.
this is the
He just
final
got it.
lap here of the race, and good battle here between Blaylock and Torville. As judging by their times, they made. I don't think they've gotten the white flag just yet. I think they're still on the lead lap and they're behind Bryce Reiner, so they'll still basically have a lap and a half to finish this battle. As we get back over to Bryce Reiner, 19-second lead as he is on his final lap up through Eau Rouge and Radion and down the. Why can't I remember the name of this straightaway? Just randomly just went out of my mind. The Kemmel Straight, yeah. For some reason, I'm like,
Camel?
I think it's the Kemmel Straight, but I'm like, no, that's Le Mans. No, that's Mulsanne. But yeah, it is. I think the rain's getting to me here a little bit as well. But Bryce Reiner, a sizable lead here over Devin Young. Dace Keeling up into third. Craig Jancic just not having a Craig Jancic type of night. Only fourth place right now tonight. He is closing in ever so slightly to Dace Keeling in this thing. It may not be over just yet. You see right there, Keeling right in front, and maybe Keeling having to save a little bit of fuel here because he is off pace the way it seems. He seems like he is a little bit slow. Jancic now looking to the outside, but having to settle back in the line here, and now he's going to blow through the corner here. We'll see if he can get back on track. And if there's going to be any kind of penalty for him, he's going to have a slowdown. But with as slow as these cars are going in the rain, will it be a slowdown that's going to cost him a position? It looks like it will, as Keeling just gets back into third place here through Ravage, and now heading down to No Name. You see Jancic hanging that back end out, trying everything he can to get up there and battle again with Keeling. As look at that, off the track and on to the rumble strips, which you don't want to touch here in the rain, but he survives that one. They head now down into Puhan, and Keeling gets out there a little bit wide, but keeps it on the track, pointing in the right direction as he got some lap traffic coming up ahead. Will this play a part here in this race? Still waiting for Reiner to come across the line. As we'll check in with him. He comes through the bus stop for the final time. Bryce Reiner is going to survive Spa, and I think that's going to be the theme of the night here. Who survived in each of these classes? He's going to win it here in the LMP2 Pro class. We'll get you back over to the battle here as we head one more time through the one of the fastest sections of the track, but a little treacherous here tonight with the rain. Still very close. You got to go through Blanchimont one more time. Still some more lap traffic in front of them as well. Will it play a part? Certainly getting mixed up here a little bit. Keeling may have to go a little defensive here, heading into the bus stop for the final time. Jancic sends it in there, and they're going to be side by side through the final corners. Jancic getting the elbows out, and he is going to walk away with third place. A great battle, great pass in the bus stop on the final lap. Not sure if he took, well, he didn't take tires. It was only a 7-second pit stop, but man, what a comeback there. He definitely had a fast car at the end and bullied his way through, got third place. Keeling settles for fourth. How about Ricky Renner, Jimmy? I know he's leading the GT3 Pro class, which is great by himself, but this may be the first time, maybe the only time we'll see it all season, that we have a GT3 driver that's going to finish in the top 10 overall. And it's not just one. Chris Hamilton is up there in 9th as well, but he's 14 seconds behind Ricky Renner.
Yeah, I mean, it was putting down consistent, laps and surviving here tonight. And obviously, Ricky loves road and looks like he doesn't mind rain so much, and did a fantastic job of that McLaren. And obviously, a great job there by Chris Hamilton as well. I know he's not a super fan of rain, but able to get a good finish here tonight. And overall, all the way up through the field, and that's survival. That's like the lack of mistakes. And as might show how the other drivers made mistakes. Also the fuel with the LMP2 where they had to make a second stop or not. So yeah, I mean, there's it could be a little bit of everything in here, but it's a very rare sight. Even Jason Wahlberg, I mean, he comes, he's going to be in your third place finisher for the GT3s here, and he's in the top, in the 11th overall. So Great job for a lot of these drivers, and and anybody else in there. Christian Ortiz finishing in fourth in the GT3s and 13th, and then for your top five, Cesar Clone Torres will finish them out there. Carl, and does announce since we have 50, biggest mover of the race does look like it's going to go to probably Chris Hayes, 23 spots here tonight for that number 80.
Yeah, big move through the race. Again, he started shotgun on the field in 49th. So getting up there almost in the top 25 overall is a huge accomplishment as some of these drivers still finishing up, and we'll get the final results up here when we have a chance. But yeah, these drivers done and dusted here with the rain at Spa. By the looks of it, chance of rain coming up in 3 weeks here, as well as Road America at the end of July. Chance of rain there in round at number 6 as well. So we'll see if they're right back out of here in the rain. I'm sure some of these drivers may be talking to the stewards, talking to the admins, talking to the owners. Can we not have rain, please? I don't think it's going to do anything. Hopefully not, as it definitely gave us some entertainment up here in the booth. And I know for some of the core GT fans out there, they got blessed by the iRacing gods last season and didn't have a single rain race. It's not going to be the case this time around. There's definitely some rain in the forecast. I know their race at, I believe it's Fuji, is 100% chance of rain. So
Gross.
that's not going to be easy for them. And then even coming up to the season finale at Watkins Glen, 44% chance of rain for the 1.5 hour season finale. So some rain in the forecast for both of our GT series races. But here tonight, this one looks like it is all wrapped up here, and we'll get the final results up here. But while we do and while we get these drivers ready for their interviews, Jimmy, what are your final thoughts here tonight?
Obviously it's I'm just happy to see that 40 or 50 drivers signed up for the race here tonight, whether John Espada was able to get in the car here tonight or not, and that's just a huge feat, whether there was rain or not. And maybe being Spa week and Spa, like the 24-hour being this weekend, maybe that had something to do with it, as it's a huge event across iRacing. Thousands and thousands of drivers get out there and race this thing, over the whole weekend. But they came out here, they gave it their best, and got some, much needed time on track, and even in the rain. So, it does look like the sun is out, now the race is over, and the track is starting to dry up. But the race is over with. So, continue to come out and watch these huge fields battle each other, and some great racing. And tonight, it was more, maybe there was some good battles, but I think more just surviving the track here tonight, as a Spa can typically be a little more difficult to pass on.
Yeah, and that's in dry conditions. But yeah, it definitely looks like it's starting to dry up already. So not sure if the time has advanced that much now that the checker flag is waving, or this is a big old middle finger from the racing gods, like, haha, we're done now. Now I can dry up real nicely here for everyone. But either way, I want to thank all the drivers for coming out here tonight. As Jimmy said, great size field out here tonight. I want to thank the sponsors of Velocity, 40 Racewear, and Aerostar Racing for everything that they do here for the series. But it's time to get some interviews here underway. It looks like we got a couple of them. Jimmy, why don't you go ahead and start off with our overall winner here tonight, and it's going to go to Bryce Reiner and the number 87.
Hey, Bryce, Jimmy, Carl, open the booth, you copy.
I got you guys.
Hey, that number 87 definitely had a lot of speed here tonight. If you were to get that thing on the pole, and then you did a lot of leading here early on, and you won by a good old whopping 20 seconds. So it does look like the 87 found its way through the trenches, the downfalls, the traffic, the spins, and he did a fantastic job here on our end. But we want to hear from your side how this last 45 minutes was.
Yeah, my God. I don't know where to start. It was filled with half spins, full spins with myself, and then sand trap getting me and Devin, same corner, I think. But all in all, I felt really, really good in practice. I was setting some really, really good lap times. Qualifying comes around, it's much more wet than anticipated. So I was just making sure I can get everything I could out of the car, and was able to get pole. And that was a huge plus, because you wouldn't be able to get all the spray from all the cars behind you. So that was huge to get pole for sure. Get those bonus points as well, and lead some laps and whatnot. But after that, I just tried to maintain a little bit of a gap and you know, give Devin something to chase. And you know, he definitely was quicker early on. It hurts to see him go off like that with 2 to go, I think, coming to the final lap. But he was quick. If it wasn't for my mistakes, I felt like my car was pretty quick, that I was able to do anything, especially in certain corners. I was just way quicker than Devin there. There was just a couple spots he just knew how to get around, and it's always fun battle, especially that close, with me making 2 mistakes, him getting 1, and got a little bit more trapped than I did. And then, you know, pit and, you know, came out decently far ahead, which surprised me a ton, and just kind of ran my own race, and hopefully nothing bad happened.
Yeah, and that you did. I mean, that was obviously the battle of you know, putting some steady laps in and you know, less mistakes. And you know, you obviously were able to do that here and be the victor here tonight. So obviously, we appreciate giving us the explanation of the race here tonight, and I want to say congratulations on your victory here in the rain at Spa. Hopefully, you can carry that success on for the weekend. But before we let you get out of here, we'll get you some time for any shouts you might have in that car.
Yes, I mean, speaking of the weekend, this does not help us whatsoever, and in the 24-hour spot. But we'll take any practice we can get on a wet track, or dry track, whichever one it was. But again, just want to give a shout out to Devin. Hard racing there, fun racing. I'm sweating up a storm. I was trying to push the last 2 laps to catch him, and I think that was able to force him into a mistake. Secondly, I hope you guys had a tremendous time up there in the booth. I mean, the battles probably around the track, the last lap pass, there with my teammate Craig and Dace, and me almost spinning it into a rouge. I just had the throttle pinned down in reverse. Hopefully I wasn't hitting anything. So thanks to the tire barriers for being a little bit farther out. But again, just want to give a shout out to you guys up in the booth. Carl, Jimmy, CRN Network, you guys do an awesome job each and every week for us on Wednesday nights. For all the family, friends, and teammates, or whoever couldn't be here, watch the race and watch it back as competitors as well. So thanks to you guys for all you do. Next, admins, all the admins, Jim, Craig, Rich, Tyler, they do an awesome job every Wednesday to get this going. But rain race, I mean, what else can you ask for? So that was a huge plus to go out on top after the last 2 races of the first 2 races, I should say, finishing P2 and 3. So we're 1 step up this time. So next, I want to give a shout out to Velocity Competition for all they do and all that we do as a team together. Just Martin PC as well. And yeah, we'll go on to next week.
I really appreciate the shout outs, man. Again, congratulations on your victory here, and we'll let you go celebrate this one with your friends and family.
Sounds good, Jimmy. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That is your overall winner here. The winner in the the LMP2 Pro Class, the 87 of Bryce Reiner, getting it done here with the late race pass over Devin Young. The other LMP2 winner is going to be Renan Dilemma and the number 82. Renan, I don't know if it was last week, the week before, you were wondering what we're interviewing you for and how you made it to the interview booth. Well, here tonight, you damn well earned it. You finished as the top driver here in the LMP2 M class, but you lost to 2 GT3 drivers. So what do you want to talk about first?
I didn't realize I was even in the running until the last about 3 laps. I asked somebody to check position for me. Paul was watching. He had crashed out. I said, "Where am I?" And he said, "Bill's ahead of you. You're P2." And I was like, "Oh, man. I hope Bill wins," because I was rooting for him. And then he goes off, and I pass him, which great for me, unfortunate for him. But another one, I have no idea how I made it here, but here we are.
So I noticed that you didn't mention anything about the two GT3 cars beating you. I mean, how does it feel to lose to an inferior class? I mean, you won your class, sure. We'll give you that. We'll give you props for that. But I mean, it's got to feel funny. But I'm assuming these LMP2s. I mean, we've seen the LMP2s and the GT3s just really struggling out there with these wet conditions.
Carl, you woke up a little bit there. All I heard was that I'm a fantastic driver and I
Yes.
did very well today.
Yes. Some lost in the
there's
translation.
absolutely yeah, that's what it is. That's exactly what it is. But it was a ton of fun. I'm sure you guys had a ball watching everybody spin and dance a little bit, and just the absolute carnage and chaos, especially with Devin at the end there. That was a bummer. But yeah, congrats to Bryce, and I hope you guys had a ton of fun.
Now, as crazy as it was here tonight with the rain, I know you guys have a chance of rain coming up in 3 more weeks at the end of July here at round number 6. Given the fact that you won your class here in the rain, are you hoping for more rain there, or you just want to just have it nice and safe?
I always hope for more rain. Jim hates it. You know, when we're setting up these schedules, I'm typically the one that pushes for the rain, and I know Jim absolutely does not love it. But I'm always for more rain. I think I let my inner Art and Senna out during the rain, you know?
I like it.
And just I make it through. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for what the rest of the season looks like.
All right, buddy. Well, take some time to celebrate this one as you get the class win here tonight in the LMP2 AM class. Before we let you go and get out of here, who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
Listen, shout out to the wife, the kids. I'm not sure if she's watching right now. I'm sure she's busy with the kids, but shout out to my buddy Pat that usually watches. Shout out to you guys, the sponsors, and you know the shout out to Bill also, Burrell, because he did a fantastic job, and I'm kind of bummed out for him, but in the end I took it, and I'm happy for that. But good night, guys.
Well, poor excuse on the wife. I mean, she's got to be watching regardless. She should be tuned in here 100%. You know, they damn the kid, or the kid should be watching too.
Oh,
actually,
That's right. That's right.
All right, buddy. Well, congrats again on the class win here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate and go dry off a little bit.
Sounds good. Later, guys.
That's your LMP2 AM class winner here tonight, the 82 of Renan Dilemma. Now we'll switch it over and get to some GT3 drivers. And Jimmy, we're going to get the GT3 Pro winner here tonight. And not only did he beat everybody in the Pro class, all the other GT3s, he beat some LMP2s here as well. That's Ricky Renner in the 53.
Hey, Ricky, Jimmy, Carl, back in the booth. You there?
I am here. How are you guys?
Not too bad. One heck of a race here tonight at Spa for yourself. Staying out of trouble and getting, a fantastic win here and dominating in fashion. Obviously, you had Chris Hamilton hot on your heels, not too far back, but you survived and you finished in front of a lot of LMP2s. So that goes and great strengths there. Being able to kind of take your time, hit your marks, even when the track is treacherous. So give us a little rundown on how your race here was tonight, because it did look like a little bit of chaos.
Yeah, it was definitely chaos. Me and Chris were talking about it afterwards, and the traffic giveth and traffic taketh. Sometimes it's not a normal, like you get stuck behind someone, you lose a couple tenths. You get stuck behind some of these, like some sections, and you lose, multiple seconds, and gets tricky. But we're talking about the LMP2 traffic was a little different to deal with this time. Not used to having that. Usually they just go right by us, and there's that. But had to kind of reevaluate and calm myself down. There were a couple times we caught some of the guys, and they could still pass back on the straight, and then you couldn't see, and you're like, man, we're going faster. And it got the blood flowing a little bit, and I sent it deep on one of the guys. We both survived, but made a big mistake. I was like, I'm going to cost myself the race if I keep doing this. So had to calm down and just remember just to, survive. That's all we had to do is survive.
And that you did here tonight and did a fantastic job. You were able to put that car where you needed to here tonight. Only the third race in. So obviously there is another chance of rain in the forecast. I think it's round number 6. So I mean, obviously seen you get the win here tonight and do a fantastic job. I mean, is overall how are your thoughts for rain for road racing?
It's going to be a very unpopular opinion, but I love it. I think it just allows you to be really creative, and especially on tracks like this where it's notoriously difficult to pass. It gives you a lot more options. I like the ability to be creative through the corners and find dry lines and find some pace. Makes it really fun. I understand, like, the spray is very difficult to see and it can get sketchy out there, but overall, I am a fan of it. I don't think that we need, more than 1 or 2 races of it because it is unpopular, but I think it has a place. It's the wetter the track gets, the easier it gets to drive. When it's just wet, no puddles, it's really greasy and it's really difficult. But yeah, overall, like, I don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it. I think you hit it right there, nail on the head. I'm right there with you. I enjoy it. Carl's making fun of me. It's because I don't typically hit the apexes, and this is my creativity. It's just I'm doing it in the dry where you need to hit the apexes. But it's I like that it's kind of like an equalizer, and like you said, it gives you those options to kind of maybe observe a situation or find somebody's weak point to get around them a little easier. And I think I did mention to Carl, this Spa, like you said, is typically a little difficult to pass on when it is dry. You have to get the right run out of a corner, or you're waiting for somebody to make a mistake. And obviously the mistakes were made heavily here tonight by quite a few drivers, allowing you to kind of come up through the field and finish it within the top 10. So obviously, we want to recognize that, as always. Say congratulations, and most of all, give you a little bit of time for any shouts you might have in that car.
Yeah, shout out to whoever created the session and it's saying chance of rain none, with them being wet the entire
I
time.
wanted the exact same thing.
Props.
But I'm not the only one that's seen that. I was wondering what was
Props
going on.
that. I loaded into a practice session and it was raining and I closed it immediately and was like, it says it's not raining. It's not going to rain for the race. So I just re-randomized it and drove in the dry. Perfect. And then I get in there wet. That was threw me for a loop. But shout out to the whole crew for the series, you guys for doing the broadcast as always. Shout out to the sim races guys out there tonight. The LMP guys did a good job. I know they had some struggles, but wet race, things get tricky. Overall, they did good. Shazy got a win, I think, in the rookie class, so that's cool. And shout out to Dooley for showing up tonight. That was cool. It's cool to see him out there. But overall, we'll see you guys next week.
Off next week, and we'll let you get out of here. So again, congratulations on the finish, and thank you for the shout outs, and we'll let you go celebrate this one with your friends and family.
That is your GT3 Pro Class winner here tonight, the 53 of Ricky Renner, and finishing 8th overall as well, beating some of the LMP2s. And yeah, I was kind of wondering the same thing. I thought maybe it was just a glitch on my side, and I was getting ready to be excited to say that we finally have a Spa race that doesn't have any rain. We get in here and it's raining. I'm like, what is going on? Because I definitely seen 0% chance of rain as well. So I just like in real life, the iRacing forecasters, they suck. They're just they just spin a wheel, just like forecasters on your local news. They say, oh yeah, it's a 20% chance of rain, and there's nothing, and then there's a 15% chance of rain, and it's a downpour. So iRacing, no different apparently. But either way, I digress. We'll get to the next interviewer here, or interviewee, and that's going to be the winner of the GT3 M class, the 007 of Cesar Clone Torres. Cesar, we got you on camera a little bit, and maybe it was a little bit too much because it seemed like every time I got you on there, you had that back end stepping out here a little bit. It was a little bit slippery out here tonight.
Yeah, is that broadcaster's curse? Is that what is it?
If you want to take that's fine. I'd like to blame it on the rain. I'd like to definitely say it was a little slick out there for you guys. But listen, if it makes you feel better, and say, you know what, no, and right on cue as I'm back here showing you on replay here. You're sideways.
Oh, no.
You're sideways. So I guess even the replay broadcaster's curse comes into play.
Well, no more to say than, yeah, this was not the best driving abilities that I could have shown tonight, but learned a new thing about the gravel in the rain. It actually does beach cars, and I got caught out there for about 7 seconds and was sweating bullets watching Cameron close in on me. But apart from that, yeah, really wet conditions. Think the FIA should have canceled this race. This was not one that would have made the Rush movie, but good time overall. Great time with the guys. Unfortunately, I got into the side and the back of Javi off braking on the white line, and I know better than that. So apologies to him, but great race overall for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, it's you finished up 13 spots as well. I mean, you started back there in 30th, and you finished up 13 spots overall. So it wasn't exactly, like you were just kind of sitting in position for sure. But you did bring up Cameron Burke, and it got pretty close there at the end. You had a sizable lead, but Burke just kept closing. Certainly with the incident that you had, made it very close until he made a late race, a couple of issues there late in the race for Burke, and takes that opportunity away from you. But how much were you sweating that? I know you've been sweating the track the entire night, and then all of a sudden you're looking, okay, I'm going to get the class win, and then you look in the mirror or look on the relative, and like, come on. Really?
Dude, I would literally, like you're saying, exactly word for word. I was just in the kind of in that pocket of nobody for a while, and I was just hanging out. And I looked down, and I was like, "Hold on a second." And then I had a mistake, and then it was less than a second. I was like, "Oh no, no! It can't be like this." And then he, like you said, I heard the mistake happen behind me, and I literally said to everyone around me, I was like, "Thank God, I might have a little bit of time to get away from them."
Well, it was enough to get it done here tonight. You get the class win, you survive Spa, and you come away with the victory here in the AM class. So congrats on the win. Who do you want to give a shout out to or thanks to?
First off, no thanks to you guys. You guys killed my rate. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to CSRL. Thank you to everyone that was racing with me, the Black Saturn guys. It's always a great time. Thank you for my girlfriend and everyone that supports me. You guys are awesome. And yeah, thank you again to you guys that always do the broadcast every week. You guys are awesome.
Absolutely appreciate that, buddy. Keep putting on the good results out there, and you know what? Even in the dry, don't be afraid to hang that back end out there a little bit. We'll try and get you on camera, whether it's our fault or not. It was certainly fun to watch out there.
Never see that again.
Either way, congrats on the victory. Go celebrate. We'll see you next week when you're a little bit drier in round number 4.
All right. Thanks, man. Have a good one, guys.
You too, buddy. That's your GT3 AM class winner here tonight, the 007 of Cesar Colon Torres. Not going to get a chance to talk to Chris Hayes, your Chris Burrell Hard Charger Sandbagger Award winner, up 23 spots here tonight, but congrats to him on the finish. That is going to do it for us here for race number 1 here on Wednesday night. We still got race number 2 coming up here with the Pit Road Speed Limit Racing Series, so make sure you tune into that one, as they're going to be tackling Charlotte Roval. Yeah, Charlotte Roval. There we go. I was going to say, I know we were still at Charlotte. Back-to-back Charlotte races. Last week was the patriotic one, and this week they keep the haulers right there, and they stay at Charlotte, but go a little road racing. So 2 road races here on Wednesday night. So perfect for all you road fans out there. Tune into that one. But for myself and Jimmy from the Wet as Usual Circuit Day Spa-Francorchamps, we'll see you at the track.
Woo.
Adrenaline, the fire I breathe is where I live. Incredible, an animal, one life to live. I never give up, I never give in. Some people wanna turn and run, but the strong rise under the gun. Top to the top, ain't never gonna stop. To the top, ain't never gonna stop. Never gonna keep me down. Still the one that's standing now. Destiny is calling me. Go down in history. Every day I fight to be legendary. Fly high, or will I fall? Legends made to the top, to